Hey, what's up, guys? Nurse Blake here, and it is CRNA week. We had CRNA Kathy on the show earlier, and now I have a CRNA student, and his name is Nurse Joe. I'm so happy he's here. So he's going to be on with us for a few minutes. So if you have any questions about CRNA school, please make sure you drop them in the comments below, and I will make sure we answer them for you guys. So let me bring up Nurse Joe.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Blake. Thanks for having me. How are you?
There you go. I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Almost done with school, so just on the tail end right now.
When do you graduate?
May 5th. May 5th.
Oh, that's coming up.
Yeah, just about 3 months away, so I'm counting down the days. We just hit less than 100 days remaining for graduation, so I'm excited.
I love it so much when people like count down the days. It's like amazing.
Yeah, we all have a countdown. We've all been Snapchatting about it, so we're all very well aware, our classmates, of when we're graduating.
That's so great. I love like a lot of people have like the countdown in 100 days, but I know some students are like only 485 days. And that just like cracks me up.
That was definitely us in the first year, and yeah, then we stopped caring a bit, and we got really stressed, and so now we're back to the countdown. So we're happy. We're in the double digits.
It is CRNA week, so does that include SRNAs, you guys?
It does. I don't think it actually is as much celebrated as Nurse Week, as National Nurses Week, but that's okay. It's all good. We celebrate within our own anesthesia community. Today, the hospital had breakfast for the CRNAs, so yeah, it's an exciting time, and it does include SRNAs as well. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. So all the viewers tuning in, can you explain to them what CRNA is, what the acronym is first, what's it stand for, and then what is the job role of a CRNA?
Okay, so yeah, sure. So CRNA stands for Certified Registered Nurse Anesthetist, and basically what CRNAs do, we are, I was going to say mid-level providers, but I don't like that word. So we are not mid-level providers. We're nurse practitioners. We do have our master's in science degree, specifically anesthesia, and we perform all types of anesthetic for all different types of patients and populations, ranging from newborns all the way into geriatrics, and including the obstetric patient as well. So what do? General anesthesia, regional anesthesia. We do peripheral nerve blocks, so that does include epidurals, spinals, any type of regional block to block the nerves to the arms, legs, what have you, and then of course general anesthesia in the operating room.
Okay, and cool. So tell me why you chose CRNA.
Well, so I had an option of choosing nurse practitioner, family practice, pediatrics, or doing nurse anesthesia. And I kind of fell in love with critical care. And once I got into critical care, a lot of individuals started telling me more about CRNA and what it was. I really was unaware of what the profession was about. And when I did my research, I did extensive research. I decided that I really like patient care, and you get to do patient care every single day with every type of anesthetic you do. And I really enjoy that hands-on part of our job. So that's one of the main reasons why I chose this profession.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we worked together at Orlando Health back in the day. Can you tell people what your nursing role was before you started CRNA school?
Sure. So yeah, Nurse Blake was tech in, I believe, neuro or medical ICU, right?
I was in the neuro ICU. It was so much fun. I did that through nursing school.
Yeah, so I was working in CVICU in cardiac intensive care as a tech. Got hired right out of school into the cardiac ICU at the same hospital. So that's when Blake and I worked together. Before school, I went straight into critical care, worked as a nurse, and my scope of practice was pretty similar to other nurses. The only difference was that I went through a critical care training course, eventually became nationally certified in critical care with my CCRN certification. And then from there, I got more experience for a few more years and then applied for CRNA school.
Okay, and how is school going? You graduate soon? What's it like?
I feel like I look really tired on the video, and that's probably because I've done almost 3,000 hours worth of clinical time so far to date.
3,000 hours?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
3,000. They require my program in Orlando, Florida requires about 2,000 hours. So I'm just about 1,000 over the minimum requirement. So school's going well. I'm passing. I've made it. I know I'm going to get there and finish. It's been a hard road, but it's doable. Everyone can do it. I think anybody can do it. It's very challenging, but you just have to have the passion and drive.
How long is the program?
So the program that I'm attending right now is about 2.5 years long, so roughly 28 months. That is for a master's degree, but currently the Council on Accreditation, or COA, is requiring that every program that teaches anesthesia in the United States transfer over and switch to a doctoral program. So they're currently in that transition. I believe they want to try to do that by 2022 for the entire country. So
that's crazy. Yeah.
It used to be 2015, and then they obviously backdated it a bit because they have to accredit all of the hospitals. It takes a while. So my program is 2.5 years. I believe the doctoral programs range from 3 to 3.5 years.
Okay. And tell me about, like, did you start clinical right when you started CRNA school, or do you wait till after to jump into clinical?
So there's two different types. That's a good question, actually. I didn't know this when I was applying to school. I had no idea that there were a difference. I thought it was all the same. You got what you got was what you got when you applied to school. So my school is an integrated program. I do 1 semester of only didactic, which is lecture, and then starting in the second semester in the summer, we do both lecture and clinicals. So we start right away. That's a mixed program. There is a front-loading program, and basically they do all the first year is nothing but didactic and lectures, and then they start their second year is their first day of clinical rotation. And you can actually find that information out online on a website if you go to, I believe it is also the Council on Accreditation, where you can compare schools, and they'll tell you whether or not they're a front-loaded program.
Okay. And now, do you work at a school?
So,
or do you recommend that people work and go to school?
No. I recommend that people don't, mainly because and this sounds really terrible, but you will fail. It's just it's impossible to work while you're in school during the first year and a half. Okay. And then after that, maybe if you have some downtime, you can maybe get a per diem job. But I'm talking working 1 day a month, 2 days a month at the most. So
yeah, CRNA school, it must be so tough. I could like only imagine. So I couldn't imagine like trying to work and then going to school. Like I feel like if you're going to do it, all your focus should be on school.
Yeah, I mean, summer was the hardest for me. The first, when we transitioned from didactic to didactic and clinical, that was the challenge. That was the most challenging semester for me, because we had the exact same amount of credit hours that we did in first semester, and then had to go to clinicals 3 days a week. Okay. So we had 14 credits worth of school, and then worked 3 days a week at the hospital, and it was intense. So you got to be on your game, and you got to be strong, but it's
14
doable.
Credits? That's crazy. I feel like in college, like full time is 12 credits, and then you don't really have like a clinical component when you're in your undergrad, Right. So that's just crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah, that was another big shock. Was undergrad, I was so used to going to clinicals 1 day a week, perhaps, and then it switched to 3 days, and now I was full-time clinical hours and working 40 hours a week by the third semester, and I've been doing full-time ever since. So it was a big change.
Can you talk about clinical? Are your clinicals in the day shift, night shift, or are they 12 hours long?
So I think that'll be dependent on also every site, of course. So what I'm saying, just know that anybody watching, that it definitely changes for each individual site. So my clinicals, I do night shift, day shift, mid shift. So I can tell you specific hours if you'd like, but we do all sorts of hours.
Okay. And then you do like different, do you do pediatric, OB, adult? All of it. All of it?
Yeah,
okay.
All of it. So I've done ours, and I heard that that's different as well. So I'm used to having a ton of OB because we're at the second busiest OB hospital in the country at Winnie Palmer, as you know. Yeah. They deliver 15,000 babies a year. So
holy moly, that's a lot of babies.
It's a lot of babies, and it's a lot of anesthesia. So
I bet.
So anyway, we do OB, we do adult rotation and specialty rotation, and then pediatrics at my location, we just do 1 month of peds.
Okay. Yeah. And when are you starting to look for a job now that you graduate so soon?
I have. I actually was hired a few months ago. I signed a contract.
Congrats.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh, did you not know? I didn't tell you.
I think now that you say that, I think I do remember, because you were just in Seattle not too long ago. We got to hang out and catch back up, and
I know it was perfect. Yeah, I was glad that I had the opportunity to go to the Seattle convention, and I remember that Blake had moved out there, so we ended up meeting up and had an opportunity to have dinner. So.
Yeah, how
Great.
was that convention? Can you tell everyone how that
It was
was?
nice. It was really nice. Yeah, I mean, it was on such a more grand scale than I'm used to
Okay.
seeing. Um, so it was a really good. I mean, there's so many companies out there looking for CRNAs.
Yeah.
So when I went into the profession, a lot of people were telling me, "Don't do it. It's oversaturated. You're not going to find a job."
Okay.
That is so far from the truth. And when I went to the convention, that was a perfect time that I realized I'm so glad I didn't listen to everybody else, because there were recruiters and per diem people that wanted per diem nurses, nurse anesthetists. I mean, it was literally a job fair to me. So it was a
Wow.
really awesome experience. Got to learn a little bit about anesthesia as well, of course, with all the lectures that they have.
Cool. So those
Yeah.
of you who are listening and you want to get into CRNA school, I guess there's plenty of jobs out there for you. So don't listen to the job market's
Don't.
oversaturated. Saturated.
Yeah, don't do that. I mean, we need good nurse anesthetists, so
Yeah, and those of you
apply.
just tuning in, I have Nurse Joe here. He is actually in CRNA school. So if you have any questions about what that's like, drop them in the comments below, and I'll make sure that we answer them for you. Let's talk about study tips. If
Yes.
people are in CRNA school right now, how do you study? And I know you have like a stack of books there that I think
Can I flip the camera?
Yeah, do
Will that
it.
work?
We want to
All right,
see.
let's see if it'll work. So I'm, a broke student, and this is my
Holy cow. I
well, this is
can't.
my this is my stand for my camera. But that's not even all of them. It's actually, I have the rest over here,
That's crazy.
and then I have
Jeez.
the rest over here as well.
Oh, so it's like never ending.
it's quite a bit. It's a tower.
I love that. So
It's a
yeah,
lot of
so
reading.
what are your study tips?
Oh my God. Find your study how I was used to studying in a certain way in undergrad. It's such a hard question. Sorry. I had to study a certain way in undergrad, and it worked well for me. I actually hand wrote all my notes. I went through each chapter and I outlined the chapter by hand. In anesthesia school, I did not have that time. The material was just too much. So I had to transition to electronic note taking, and I'm not used to that at all. I'm very illiterate when it comes to computers. So I finally found that was the way to do it for me. It worked. I ended up getting better grades in the second semester when I found that way to study. So my best advice: don't necessarily listen to other people. Find your way fastest that works best for you, and you'll succeed.
Yeah, I love that. Everyone studies differently, so people
Yeah.
can give advice and tips all day, but you have to do what works for you.
Exactly. I'm not a group study person. I never was. But in CRNA school, I would study the material first, and then I would meet with my classmates after, because I felt like I had a better handle on the material and could at least contribute to the conversation. So that ended up working for me, where I never did that in undergrad. I always studied alone. So
Okay, so yeah, so your study tips were different now than they were in nursing school.
yeah, very different. Yeah.
And we have a question. We have a question
Perfect.
from Klaus. And he says, how is your relationship with the anesthesiologists?
So for the most part, believe it or not, I think that I've had a really decent relationship with most of them. More so, I've probably had a little bit more run-ins with CRNAs actually, than anesthesiologists. So the relationship is fairly good where I'm at anyway. They respect us. Of course, there is a little bit of a hazing period where they grill you and they ask you question after question and expect you to know every single detail about anesthesia. But I took that as them just wanting me to be good. And so beyond that, after that had occurred and that hazing period kind of slowed down, I feel that they really respect our decisions and our comments and questions that we have regarding our anesthetic. And is this safe to do it for this patient, or should we maybe choose a different anesthetic because of their heart disease or what have you? And they really respect that. So that's I hope that answers your question, but it's a good relationship if to sum it up.
We got another one coming from Immanuel. He said, what ICU do you recommend going into? And I guess this is after nursing school, before CRNA school.
Right. And actually, Blake, I do see these questions. I think you might post them or something,
you're seeing them?
But I see them. So
good, cool.
The ICU that I personally recommend, I mean, any is fine. I think maybe cardiac intensive care, but The only reason I recommend cardiac intensive care over any other ICU is because you don't feel uncomfortable with a patient with a sick heart. That's probably the biggest thing. I would recommend CVICU. However, any ICU, I recommend getting into any of them. If you can get into a neuro ICU right out of school, do it. I say don't go to the floor, go straight to the unit.
Yeah, I tell people that too. Like whatever you're interested in, just go for it. You don't necessarily have to start a med surg. Like whatever you're passionate about, especially if you know you want to get into CRNA, don't wait. Just go right into the ICU.
And that's why Blake Nurse is the best nurse advocate.
Oh,
because no, but I'm serious, because I agree wholeheartedly. When I was doing clinicals in undergrad, everyone would say, hey, go to the floor for a little bit, get experience, and then go to the unit. I never thought like that. I always felt I would succeed better in a unit I wanted to be in. So yeah, go straight into the unit if that's what you want to do. Is CRNA school, just go for it.
Yeah, I love it. And I know the recommendation for CRNA school is like 1 to 2 years in ICU. What are your thoughts on that? Should it be longer? Is that enough?
I definitely don't recommend a year. I definitely recommend a minimum of 2, but that's just me. I signed a contract for 2 years. I did actually 4, and then I went into school. I felt like 4 was a little too long, but definitely 1 is not enough. My program accepts people after 1 year. Again, I think 2 years minimum. That helps you get comfortable with patients. I definitely know that people that have only 1 year of experience, unless they're rock stars, they struggle clinically. They struggle really hard.
Okay, that's good to know, and great feedback from someone who's in school right now.
Yeah, you wouldn't know it unless you heard about it from, exactly.
Yeah. What is your advice to someone who's working right now as a nurse and they want to get into CRNA, besides just working in the ICU? Do you have any other advice for them?
Oh man, get yourself in order. Get your finances in order.
Get your life in order.
get your life together. Every decision I made the last year before entering, and this is just me. I'm an OCD kind of compulsive person, but I spent the last year really trying to organize myself to get into the program. So. I mean, and this is a little personal stuff, but I mean, I traded in my Camry for a Corolla because it was $75 cheaper a month. And, I made sure that I saved up, I had a decent savings before I entered the program. I tried to do every little thing I could prior to coming into the program so I wouldn't struggle as much financially because I knew I was going to be stressed in other areas of my life, meaning school.
And can you tell people that, like, talk about the financials of CRNA school? Do you have student loans? Do you mind if I ask? Like,
I do have student loans. I have a lot of them. It's funny. I actually did after I graduated nursing school, I did an interview with, do you know Susie Orman?
Yeah, I remember this. Yes.
Yeah. I did an interview on her television show. She's for those of you who don't know her name is Susie Orman. You should Google her. She's a financial guru. She used to have a television show, and she had me as a guest. And I asked her, "Hey, I want to go to CRNA school. I just graduated nursing school, but it's a lot of money. What do you think I should do?" And she basically said, "If you want to go ahead and do it, you should, because the money that you would make as a CRNA, you would definitely be able to pay back your loans. And the loans range from anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000 by the time you're done."
Wow, that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of money.
It's an investment. I mean, you have to look at it as an investment, and you're going to be able to pay it off. That's why you have to set yourself up for the program, because you're risking a lot. So,
yeah, for sure.
A lot of loans.
We're getting another question from Levi. Levi says, what's the difference between a Masters CRNA and a Doctorate CRNA?
So the main difference is education. As far as I know, I think that might be a better question for someone with a doctorate or a doctoral degree. But from what I know, being in the industry now, I believe that that's the main difference, is they are essentially allowed to be an educator to anesthesia, to an anesthesia program. When you get your master's, though, as a CRNA, you can teach a bachelor's program because your master's prepared. You just have to have a degree higher than the level you're educating. So I think that's the main difference between doctor and master's. Other than that, there's really clinically no difference. They don't have a greater scope of practice or anything like that.
Okay, that's good to know. And you said, when does the switch go? That everyone
I
needs
believe the Council on Accreditation, or the COA, if you Google COA nurse anesthesia, you can find the website. But I believe they're shooting for 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Let's see if we have any other questions. Emmanuel
keep them coming.
asks, let's see. Let's see where is it? Hello.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, do you see it?
Oh, now I do.
Okay.
Yes.
Any tips for a nursing student trying to get into the ICU and CRNA school?
Definitely study hard in your undergrad program. This is another good question. Definitely study hard in your undergrad program, and don't do the minimum. You've got to get decent grades, because when you submit your application, the anesthesia program literally pulls out all of your transcripts and says, why did you get a B in this class? Why did you get a C here? It looks like you struggled in this science class. So anesthesia is really heavy in science. So as long as you have a good science background, I think you'll do fine in the program. For me specifically, a little side note, personal note, I did not do the greatest on my GRE, which is the graduate, the graduate record exam. Is that right? I took it 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. I took it a while ago, but I didn't do the greatest on it. I think I got the bare minimum that I needed. But I had a 4.0 in all of my undergrad science courses. So that I think really weighed heavily on their decision to let me in. I was actually conditionally accepted initially by the program. They said, you're accepted, but you need to improve your GRE scores. Luckily, they emailed me back and said, you know what, you're in. So
that's awesome.
Didn't have to take. I told them I signed up. I said, I'll take it again. I'll take it 3 more times. I don't care how many times. And they emailed me and said you're in, and got in the program. So advice for nursing students: do your best, because every single grade that you receive, even in undergrad, will come back later in your interview for the anesthesia program.
That's great advice, and something I didn't even think about.
Yeah.
How was that GRE?
I hated it. Absolutely hated it. So I think almost every single CRNA program requires it. There's some NP programs that don't, so that's nice for the NP route. But it was horrible. I didn't like it. I actually did better on the writing than the math. The math was very foreign to me. I had never seen math like it before. So, but it was doable. I did it.
You got the big numbers and you got the smaller numbers in the corner. It's like, what is going on? The letters. It's like, what is going on?
It was so foreign to me that I didn't know how to study for it. And so what I did was I just went and took it. I said, screw this. I'm going to take it. I went and took it. I did miserable. I got like 9 points lower than I needed. But I knew then how they tested. So I went back, studied, and then I got the grade that I needed when I took it the second time.
Okay. I have another question from Cheyenne.
All right.
It says, is CICU the best unit clinical experience to prepare for CRNA school? And I think you kind of touched on this a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Hey, Cheyenne, how are you? I worked in CCU, which is, I think, similar to CICU, the coronary care unit. I loved it. I didn't work in cardiovascular ICU. It was almost a combined unit. I think I said that earlier that I did, but it's a combined unit at our hospital. But I didn't recover hearts. I worked strictly with coronary care. And I really liked that experience because I was comfortable dealing with a patient with a sick heart. I knew a little, even though I had a lot to learn in anesthesia school, because I definitely don't know everything. And I knew I needed to educate myself a lot more. But it definitely, if I had a patient with an EF of 20%, I wouldn't be as nervous, I think, as someone that, had a patient with an EF of 20% that worked in, a small little ICU in a rural town that didn't see patients that sick. So I think CICU is a really good place to start. Balloon pumps, working with different devices. We worked with balloon pumps and Impellas and everything you could imagine. So that helped.
You can't be shy with that stuff when you want to get into CRNA school. You can't just be like, I'm going to choose an easy ICU, just to get the minimum. You got to learn as much as you can.
You do, because it's going to really benefit you clinically, and it's going to make your life so much better when you go to clinicals and they're drilling you with questions while you're trying to intubate, which you've never done before. And you're trying to keep your patient alive because they just induced anesthesia and their pressure is 70/30. So I think when you take care of the sickest in the cardiac ICU or any ICU, that'll help prepare you for clinicals. Really, preparing for clinicals is your experience in the unit. Whatever experience you get in the unit, you want that experience to transition over to your anesthesia clinicals. The harder it is, the better it will be for you in anesthesia school clinically.
Okay. We had a comment from Amanda. She said, "Hi guys, I miss you both." She's from Orlando. Hey, what's up, Amanda? Hey. Thanks for watching. What else? We have another question.
Oh, Amanda. Amanda, we worked with Amanda.
Yeah, I know. So I say, hey.
Oh, hey.
How's it going, Amanda? It's good to hear from you.
How are you? She just graduated CRNA school.
Oh, congrats. That's awesome, Amanda.
Happy CRNA week, Amanda.
That's huge. Yes, happy CRNA week. That's awesome.
Yeah, she graduated in December from her doctoral program, so she would be a good person to ask about the difference between doctoral and master's.
Yeah, I think she's actually been commenting on people's questions about that. So thanks for commenting, Amanda. That you have that experience. But I bet she's like still on vacation from graduating. So.
I hope, because she freaking deserves it.
Do you have a vacation plan?
Yes, actually, I just decided with my partner that we're gonna. I think we're gonna do a Thailand, Tokyo vacation in June. So. Oh,
that's awesome! Good for you.
I'm excited.
Do you have to take an exam after you graduate?
We do. So after you get through the grueling didactics of school and re-navigating your life, essentially, and you pass CRNA school, you have to take the NB-CRNA, which is the National Board Certification and Recertification for Nurse Anesthetists. And it's essentially just like taking your boards for nursing, just all related to anesthesia. It's a pass or fail. And once you receive that and pass that exam, then you're able to practice as a CRNA throughout the United States. And some states, I believe, you are able to receive your nurse practitioner license. Other states, you still keep only your RN, and then you hold your CRNA license with the AANA, which is our national organization for nurse anesthetists.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a little bit more in detail, but yes.
All right, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Nurse Joe, if people watch this later and have comments, do you mind answering their questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just responding to them. So if you guys watch us and we're not live anymore, feel free to drop your questions below. And if I can't answer them, Nurse Joe will answer them. We wish you the best of luck in these last 4 months of school. I bet you're so excited. I love that you're counting down.
I am.
And thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Nurse Blake. You can check out more content on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Nurse Blake. You can also find me on Instagram. So I will chat with you guys later. Bye. Thanks for coming on, Nurse Joe.
Thanks. Bye, Blake. Bye, everybody.
Bye.